Good afternoon, welcome. Good afternoon. My name's Mike Ponting. I've been working in partnership with Pill Catchers for the last 4 or 5 years. My experience and background is in developing high-performance teams and using the latest in thinking, cutting-edge tools around emotional intelligence to help those teams perform. Some of you might be here expecting a session on courageous conversations. Well, actually, there's a lot of similarity in having the courage to have some of those courageous conversations, especially when we start thinking about what's the difference between high-performance teams and those that are just doing the business, just mediocre levels of performance. What is it that makes somebody go the extra mile? What is it that people do when they're fully engaged and absolutely committed and motivated to go that little bit further to deliver on whatever it is we're expecting them to deliver on? Well, today we're going to be exploring the work of a chap called Dr. Will Schutz, an American psychologist, and an advanced approach to emotional intelligence in teams that you can go away and use some of these tools, tips and ideas and should give you some tips to go away with and try with your teams back at the workplace. As I said, my name's Mike Ponting. I've been working in business improvement for the last 18 years and I've run international programs all over the place on this type of subject and leadership, how leaders have an impact on developing a high-performance team. I work with occupational psychologists, sports psychologists, Olympic teams, the sports psychologists who worked with the cycling team that went on to win 8 gold medals at Beijing and to repeat that again at the latest games. So we're going to be taking some of the ideologies from kind of sports world. I've also had the opportunity to work overseas for charities and see what it is that makes people really engage and go the extra mile. Back in '95, I was in South America, in Guyana. As part of a youth development charity, we walked 340 miles in 3.5 weeks and delivered over 2,000 vaccines to remote and marginalised communities. I learned a lot about what makes a team function and what makes it fall apart when it's under pressure, under extreme pressure. I've also managed projects in Costa Rica, environmental projects in Costa Rica for the same charity. And again, it's about learning, probably through my mistakes more than anything else, that what we can do differently to create a high-performance environment. And I've gone to take that learning and apply it back in the business world. So worked in all sorts of organisations. Today's going to be about high-performance team development. On your seats, you should have some post-it notes. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is think about the things that get in the way, the day-to-day stuff that stops a high-performance team being a high-performance team. What are the barriers to high performance? Write them down on a post-it note, and for each barrier you come up with, I don't want just 2 or 3 or 4, each one on a separate post-it note. So what things get in the way, what stops a team performing? And just write them down on those post-it notes for me to start with. Excellent, lots of scribbling going on. So things that stop us being a high-performance team. Now, quick show of hands, how many of you here lead a team and have people that report to you? Okay, for you, I'd like you to think about your role in leading a team. How many of you here are part of a team in delivering strategy? Okay, so for you, we're thinking about your input from a team member's perspective rather than a leadership perspective. Okay, what I'm going to ask you to do next is to classify your barriers. So have a look at each post-it note and ask yourself this. For each barrier, where are you going to put it on our flip chart sheet? I'm going to ask you to stand up in a moment and come and stick them up here. Do you have 100% control and influence over this barrier? In which case it goes slap bang in the middle. Do you have some control and some influence over this? Maybe not 100%, but yes, you do have some influence. Or is it something totally outside of your control, like the weather or volcano erupting, or is it completely outside of your control? You have no influence over it whatsoever. I ask you to stand up and come and form an orderly queue at the flip chart and stick it on there wherever you think it fits. We've overwhelmed our flip chart, haven't we? Crikey. If these are all the barriers, good luck, folks. There's a lot of stuff that can stop us. Okay. First of all, I'm really pleased. Why am I pleased? Because there's more in the 2 circles than there are outside. Taken from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, what do we worry about and where's our focus? If it's on stuff outside, corporate noise, yeah, we've all got that to deal with. Politics, what's going on, emails and phone calls. Actually, I'm going to challenge you on that one. Whose is that one? Emails and phone, because actually there are some techniques you can use to manage those, so you could have some influence on that. A friend of mine sends his auto-responder. I'm not responding to emails at the moment. I'm in a board strategy meeting, or I'm doing this one. You won't get a response out of me. Also, on his mobile, please don't leave me a message. I can't. I'm abroad. I can't take my calls right now. If it's really urgent, call the office or the second in command. So there are some things that I'm going to challenge you on around these. Outside influences, no empowerment. Oh, whose is that one? Oh, that's a deep one, isn't it? Oh, horrible. I said something, but it was ignored. So I now feel completely useless.
Sent me on a course, but I can't do it.
Sent me on a course, and now I can't go and put it into practice. So that's really frustrating, really difficult. Personal issues at home, well, shit happens, doesn't it? There's something constant about change. Stuff happens. Moving house, divorce, bereavement, stuff happens. So how we manage those difficult situations when something goes wrong can really significantly affect a high-performance team. One of the qualities of a team here that do perform is a support network and the emotional resilience. So the bounce back ability and it's okay, they're going through a rough time, let's cut them some slack. Massive impact on loyalty, even though short-term results might be a challenge. So loads of stuff in the middle here. Okay, really great stuff. Lack of passion, direction, understanding. Whose is that one? Okay, Lash, talk me through this.
Yeah, we do it with a lot of people who don't necessarily see the benefits of everything within the business, so they don't understand the progression and stuff like that. So sometimes it's just getting their mind.
Can't see the reason why. Yeah. Can't see the benefits to the business. So therefore, I'm disengaged. How many of you have seen that in either in your existing organisations or elsewhere? Where do you know what? I don't know why I'm doing this, so I'm not going to buy into it. It's another bit of corporate stuff for us to swallow. Lack of email time management, lack of clarity on direction, some similarities coming up over here. Have we got more time or less time than we had 5 years ago to do the
Same but more work.
The same but more work. Okay, so technically that's the same amount of time, but we got more to do in it. Actually, it's not easy managing that. And how we manage our time is crucial if we start thinking about high performance. How many of you here have missed breakfast to get to work early? Yeah. How many of you skipped a lunch break? Yeah. How many of you stayed late till past 9 o'clock on a job because you needed to get a job done? How many of you done that for a whole week in a row? Yeah. Okay. So when does it start to have an impact on you? So a performance team is also bearing in mind the state of the individuals. Some great stuff on here. A key point from this, it's looking at the barriers, is what do I have a control over? What do I have influence over? And how can I control the controllables? So what am I doing with my time management? Am I spending a lot of time doing displacement activities? Stuff that, rearranging my inbox, refilling my stapler, watering the pot plants in the office, stuff that maybe doesn't really have a big impact. But actually, if we think about how we manage our time, it has a big impact on high performance if everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet. Lack of clarity, we're going to come back to that a bit later. I'm fascinated. I work with a team of occupational psychologists who've done a lot of work on emotional intelligence profiling. And I've used this in one-to-one coaches for future leaders in business. In fact, I've got a project kicking off on Friday with the Warner Music Group looking at future leaders and their emotional intelligence profiles. What do they need to do to manage the change in the digital music industry? Because it's all changed for them. And I think one of the key things that strikes me here is, well, how do we do it? It's all very well talking about it. What does it feel like to be part of a high-performing team? inspired, connected, engaged, all the stuff that the feeling side of it, it's really actually doesn't cost much to change. You don't have to put them on an expensive development course. You don't need to completely rework the way you're doing it and restructure stuff. Actually, some small changes in your behaviour can have a huge impact on your team. So we're going to be exploring those in a moment. So what are we going to be looking at? Skills, qualities, attitudes of a high-performance team. Gary, can I ask you to come and scribe for me, mate? And we're going to go buzzing around. I want you to, last time you felt most alive at work, 100% connected, really enthused, passionate about what you're doing, working for a great cause, or whatever it is that you're doing. Can I ask you, what were the skills and qualities of the team leader or the team members? What did they look like to you? Let's get some feedback.
Everyone cares about each other.
So, okay, everyone cares about each other. Great one. Pardon?
An active listener.
Pardon?
No?
Got ya. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Active listening. So rather than just waiting to speak, really hearing what's being said. What else? Enthusiastic and passion. So yeah, okay, same page. Brilliant. Vision.
And recognition.
Recognition. Okay. There's an interesting article, some stuff done in transactional analysis, sort of early 80s stuff, about the impact of praise. So if I can come up to you and say, what's your name, Elizabeth? Elizabeth, I'd just like to say thank you very much. Job well done last week. That's conditional on her doing a job. Yeah? So she feels good for a little bit of time, don't you? That's a nice feeling. If I come up to you and say, Robert, you are a top guy to have on the team.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I have not made that conditional to his performance. The impact of that on his sense of personal well-being is 100 times more powerful than the conversation with Elizabeth. So how do we recognise others? And when is it appropriate to? I've also seen the cheesy American, "You're awesome," which fails to have an impact over a longer period of time. So what else do we get? Skills, qualities, attitudes. What else?
Team support.
Team support, okay.
Individualism, so being recognised as an individual.
I-
Not blanket managed.
Not blanket managed, recognised as an individual, brilliant. Let's get some from the back.
Enthusiasm, organisation.
Organised. Enthusiastic but organised. Okay, good. What else? Let's just get a couple more from over here.
A mentor as well.
Having a mentor, somebody to help you guide through that process. Brilliant.
Sharing as well.
Sharing. A problem shared is a problem halved. But
It
sharing.
goes back to recognition. If you can be prepared to share something with somebody and you're respecting their opinion and looking for somebody else to hear,
Yeah, yeah.
rather than the external, like do what I say and not what I do.
Absolutely right. Absolutely spot on. I think there's a real message there about sharing. Okay, anything else?
Inspirational.
Inspirational? Have a direction? What about when something goes wrong and somebody does something that's really kind of made a really bad mistake?
Sharing.
Feedback, sharing, support, no blame. You messed it up, you sort it out. Don't do it again. It's a very different message to say, well, what have you learned from that? How are we going to move it forward to make sure we don't do that again? So it's okay to make a mistake, but I'm not going to be your job's on the line, mate, kind of attitude, but blame culture. Anything else?
Empathetic.
Empathetic? Goal-driven. Going back to the project I was on about earlier, the delivering vaccines in South America. I remember the first morning we woke up and it took us 2 hours to pack up camp and get moving. We were being project managed by an ex-Royal Marine, and he gave us a right good bollocking. Seriously, you've got to put your ideas out. We've got 40 kilometres to cover today. If we're in a tropical environment, how the hell are we going to get to where we need to be in that time frame if you are so disorganised? So I think being courageous about your conversation, it's okay to say that you're not happy. It's okay, but it's how you do it that's important. Being honesty, yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Innovative.
Innovation, thinking of new ways of doing it. Good one. Okay, we could fill up probably the whole flip chart pad with skills, qualities, attitudes and attributes of a high performance team. I'm going to share with you a quick demo on some things that I've learned about what small things you can do to make a difference. So I'm going to give one of our volunteers here a bit of a challenge. What's happened is we've had a bit of a break-in. Gary, if you want to grab a seat just over there for a second. We've had a bit of a break-in. We've got important visitors from China coming in a few moments into our boardroom. There's been a break-in and there's some stuff that's kind of been chucked around and kind of we need to make sure it's cleared up. So I'm going to give someone a bit of a challenge. Karen, would you mind coming in and give us a hand? Come on in just a second. I've got a really important job for you. Right, we've had a break-in. You know we've got these Chinese visitors coming very shortly.
Right.
This needs to be kind of back to a normal state of play. Can you clear it up for me? I've really got to get on with these emails.
Yeah. No, sorry, I'm not quite sure how this has become my job.
Well, you're the only one here at the moment that can really help me.
Quite sure
I've really got
that's my fault.
No, I know it's not your fault.
Are you really asking me to clear this mess up?
Yes. Yeah, only take 5 minutes. Come on, crack on. They'll be here in a minute. I need to make sure that we make the right first impression. I will give you a hand in a second. I just need to get this
Yeah,
off.
but you won't though, will you?
I will, yeah.
Never do! Here I am again! Doing it all by myself! Thanks a lot, Mike. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
Gary, you know the other week we were at that board meeting.
Yeah.
This is one of the
Sorry,
key things
you
that...
just said you'd help me, now you're speaking to somebody
I've just got to
else.
clear this up. It's really important. It's about
And
finance
I'm
for next year.
clearing this up, which is equally as important.
Okay.
Well, okay, which is more important to you, that or clearing this up for the delegates?
Well, to be honest, the financial reporting's got to be the first thing that I look at. But we will be there in a second, Karen. Thanks for your help. Thank you.
Okay, a second, you'll be there.
This bit here,
Yeah.
we really need to sort
Yeah,
out
right.
forecasting here because
No bother. Yeah. I see.
also the TNCs on this
You've
bit.
got 30
I get it.
seconds, Mike.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll sort
So
that
we
one
can take
now.
that as point one.
Right.
This is point
Yeah.
two,
Got it.
and then we'll check it over to the IT team and they can cover off the details.
Sounds
on.
like a plan.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can
Cool.
do that.
Well, we're nearly there.
Well,
we're
we'll
nearly
get this
there.
done. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're nearly there. I'm like, oh, good. I'm not nearly there.
Right, that'll do. That'll do. There you go. Just put that in the bin. Okay. Karen, thanks ever so much. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. If you
Oh,
can,
you appreciate
can you get
it. Oh.
can you get the coffee on? Because I'll be here in a minute. Thanks. What did you observe? What did I do wrong? Telling her what to do.
Fair, you weren't prepared to do it yourself.
I'm not going to get involved at the coalface. Got other stuff that's more of a priority. So thinking about thinking about some of the things I did wrong. So I'm not prepared to have a go. Anything else? Lacked manners? In what way?
In the way you asked for it to be done.
Okay. Not courteous. No manners. Manners go a long way, actually, don't they? Yeah, don't blame you. Don't blame you. What else? No engagement. Okay. It's
Bit dictatorial.
bit dictatorial. You do that. Thank you very much. Anything else? Go on.
I call it the missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle that, you know, like, this is a priority because I need to do this, so there's no understanding, there's no explanation about really why.
Kept her in the dark a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair comment.
There's no value for it.
And she doesn't feel valued. Okay.
Make it very clear that your time is
My time's more important than her time. Get the coffee on, will you? Yeah, okay. So there's some clear ways. Okay. I'm going to illustrate and tell you a little bit more about what my brief was to Karen in a minute. But before we do, I'm just going to run another simulation, just for the sake of argument. Let's say it's the same nightmare of office break-in. What we'll do as well is we'll just make it a bit more mucky. Just rip up all my flip charts that I'm going to be using in a minute. No, that's fine. Okay. Karen, hi. Come on in. How are you?
Yeah.
You okay?
Stressed.
Have you got a minute or two?
1 minute or two. It's
Okay.
literally
Okay. You are a fantastic person on the team. I'm calling on you because I've got a bit of a problem.
Okay.
We've got some Chinese investors who are coming to the office and they'll be arriving in the next few minutes.
Oh, okay.
I've also got to finalise the presentation that we're going to be using with them, because we've had some changes that we need to make to it.
Okay.
I really need to focus on that, because
Okay.
it'll affect the deal. In the meantime, we've had a break-in in the office, and things are looking a bit messy, and I want to make the right first impression for them when they arrive.
Okay.
Any chance you could get it sorted for me so I can focus on what I need to focus on?
I'll give it a go.
Thanks ever so much.
I'll give
Thank
it a
you.
go. Do you know what? Actually, I know that this is a good job, but as you just said, it's really, really urgent. Could you just pick up those pens? Sorry, if you guys could just, I'm so sorry to ask you to do this. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so sorry. Look, if I do the chairs and cut paper, and you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much. You've saved us. You really have. That is, that is brilliant. Thank you so much. And I'll take this. Oh my God, thank you. Oh, you all got me. I really do. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. And we're done.
Karen, you're an absolute star. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, these guys.
Appreciate it.
they're
Thanks, everyone.
brilliant.
Really
They're
appreciate your
brilliant.
help.
Thank you so much. Oh, is that all right?
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we can get ready for this fictitious meeting. What was the difference between the first time and the second time? Taking apart how I introduced it, anything else? Heart and mind. Okay, if you flip over, there's one that says the right way. Head, heart, guts, I like to use. Head's in the game, heart's in the game, my guts are in the game. What else? Sorry?
Taking ownership of the task.
Taking ownership of the task. Yeah, she was quite willing to do that. Anything else?
Thank you.
A thank you. Small thing, massive difference.
You
Yeah.
also make her feel like it was okay to ask other people and almost delegate the situation.
Right, so I delegated it to her. Can I leave that with you while I focus on other stuff? So effective delegation, okay. What else did you...
Physical contact too, which in the previous session there wasn't. So you took a hand. So you
I actually came and shook her hand and I touched her on the shoulder.
Eye contact.
And it made such a difference. It made such a difference. What else did you notice? Shared problem. Okay. Anything else? Sorry, can you shout up?
You checked the current workload before you came for
Yeah, I know you might be having a busy day. Checked her current workload, what her priorities might be. So a bit of empathy going on there. Anything else? Okay, let me reveal to you what my brief to Karen was before we started this exercise. It's based on 3 words. Karen's a professional actor, and I asked her to get into the mindset of someone who didn't feel significant, somebody who didn't feel competent, and somebody who didn't feel likeable. This is based on the work of Will Schutz, the psychologist I was talking to earlier about. It's called the human element, not the human elephant that somebody come and ask me, are you doing the elephant session? No, it's the element session. Human element, based on the work of Dr. Will Schutz, an American psychologist who died last year. His son Ethan now kind of holds the flag. What I noticed when I first saw this activity was the impact of these 3 words, or these feeling states, on performance. So in the first example, where we saw reluctance, resistance, challenge, I'm not going to do it, and if I do it, I'm going to make a half-assed attempt to do the absolute bare minimum possible, and I'm going to whinge like a whinger before doing the task. Because she didn't feel significant, she didn't feel competent, and she didn't feel liked. So, massive change. The second turn of the wheel, the second time round, I said, I'd like you to remember in your mind when you last felt really significant, that you made a difference, that you were valued, that you were competent, that you were able to kind of rely on yourself, and that you were liked, that kind of social acceptance piece. And the impact that has on performance is absolutely phenomenal. I've been working for the last 4 years with the Royal National Lifeboat Institution on a leadership and coaching programme for graduates, young undergraduates, some of them actually, who are only working for 8 weeks during the summer on delivering kind of key safety messages. First year I worked with them, they raised £700,000. Good job? We put this into practice through coaching, through leadership, through performance management, through having courageous conversations, through setting the right atmosphere to be able to go away and perform and exceed How much did they raise last year? 3 years later. Go on.
3 times as much.
3 times as much. And a bit more. 3.8 million quid in 8 weeks from undergraduates who've no business experience. Why? Because they felt significant, they were making a difference, they felt competent, they felt liked, and they were living and working in a very social, tight-knit group for 8 weeks. I've also seen it in Olympic teams. It's kind of more obvious there, but you can see it in businesses too. That team that just motors, where it's the norm rather than the day-to-day stuff. Why? Let's have a look at. Can I borrow the flip chart pen? The impact and significance. Well, if I feel significant, actually, do you know what it's like when you go on a tube? You know, you actually catch somebody's eye and you're like, oh crikey, they looked at me. I won't look at them again. Oh, he's still looking. And the third look is like, he's a serial killer, I'm not going to look at him again. That aspect of what I call inclusion. And I think if people are included, you develop the aspect of inclusion, which makes people feel significant. And it can be such a small thing as eye contact, a handshake, a bit of unconditional praise, manners, the stuff we've been talking about. What about competence? If I feel competent, I'm more likely to feel in control. How many of you have worked for a micromanager in the past? Where are you? Did you see that email I sent? Why haven't you acted on it yet? I need it by 4 o'clock. It's now 3:45. How far are you with it? Can you email me what you've done already? Have you anyone worked for a micromanager before?
Yeah.
How did you feel? No control. No control. So in terms of leading a team, those of you leading teams, is let the control go. If people feel empowered, they're going to learn it, they're going to do it, they're going to own it, and they'll motor with it. Whereas if you're there on every tiny little thing, you might be the technical expert, you might be the product knowledge expert, whatever. But if you have control, people feel that they're not competent. Has an impact on the psychology of performance. Likeability. Well, guess what? You're not going to get on with everyone, are you? This isn't about making friends. It's about an atmosphere of openness. And actually, it takes courage to have that courageous conversation. I don't agree with what you've done here. I see what your angle is, but I disagree with you. How many of us complain if you've had a poor service? Yeah, okay, there's more hands going up. We are learning as a culture, aren't we? That it is okay to make a noise if it doesn't meet your expectations. We were staying at a Premier Lodge last night, and at 12:04, I'd been in bed for a couple of hours, I was in a deep sleep. There were some students running up and down the corridor, banging on all the doors. And it woke me up. I thought, what's going on? So I went down to the reception this morning and said, you know your promise, you have a good night's kip. You know, what happens when I don't get a good night? I was woken up by students running up and down corridors, banging on doors last night. And they said, well, refund your room. Refund your room. Well, some people haven't got the courage to be that open, and they'll just say, do you know what, chalk it up, I'm not staying there again. But actually the service there was brilliant, the food was brilliant, and we did feel included, we did feel significant. They were very good at managing the relationship. The key point here is openness. So how open are you with your team? How much do they know about you? How much is okay to share about your personal information? Where's the barrier? Where's the line? You know, when's your birthday? What family have you got? Who are the significant others in your life? The more we know about our teams, the more we're able to support and become a high-performing team. A lot of people have this separation between what they do at work and what they do at home. Actually, there shouldn't be, because it requires energy to change your persona. The most effective people I've seen, and those with the highest scores on their EI profiles on emotional intelligence, tend to be the ones that are really authentic all the time, whether they're at work or whether they're not. So I'm just going to give you another scenario of good stuff and bad stuff and leave you with some thoughts and tips and tools on how you take this away. So first of all, I'm going to ask, if I can ask you to retain the scribe again, Gary, thank you. First of all, we're going to get, I've got to do it, I'm a team member, and we're going to get someone, a manager, to come and get me to go the extra mile and do that little bit extra. So first of all, we're going to see, again, how not to do it in our one-to-one scenario. So, Bob, if you'd like to come and join me.
Word? You wanted a word, Mike?
Yeah. Wasn't that something you wanted me to do?
Yes. I want you to get me a report on all of the work we've had done by contractors
Yeah.
since I don't know, around about I think since the spring.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And I need it really by half an hour. Sort it out for me.
No, can't do it half an hour. What?
Well, I really need it. I know you could. You can sort that out for me, can't you?
Right.
Half an hour. So that's all the work from the contractors we've had since the spring. All right.
Crikey.
See you soon. No problems.
Right.
Take care.
Again, similarities there in terms of how not to do it. What did you notice? Unrealistic. Half an hour. Vague. Really vague in what he wants. Anything else?
Haven't really thought it through, I don't think.
Haven't really thought it through. Okay. So let's look at the same scenario. I've got to put in some work, get some extra stuff done. And here's a manager who's going to take a slightly different approach.
Hi, Mike. Can I have a word? It's all right.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
I've got a bit of a problem, which I hope you can help me with.
Okay.
I've got to have this report done by the next hour or so. It's a big report. A lot depends on it, and I really need your help to help me get it done in time. Because if this report's done in time, we have a great opportunity to take this company forward by about 3 years. Our profits are going to rocket. We're really going to get there, but I am in a bit of a quandary at the moment.
Okay, what do you need from me?
Right, I need you to look at the fact that the details in the sheets I'm going to give you,
Yep.
and actually get the right bits out for me. They're quite obvious, but they're just pretty time consuming.
Yeah.
If I get those details, then I can fax those straight to the supplier, who will then get onto their supplier in the Far East. And I think if we clinch this one, we've really got it. But it's got to be done by close of play today, which isn't long, and I appreciate that.
Right, okay.
Really appreciate that, and I appreciate that you've put aside a lot of other stuff. You're probably going without sort of food. I mean, if we need to work late, I'll call the pizzas in and we'll get fed. Time-wise, I appreciate you're going to miss and be late probably a couple
Well,
of hours
I'm working
tonight.
on payroll projects at the moment. She's
Okay.
also time sensitive.
Okay, well,
What do you want to do with that?
I'm going to be here, and it depends on the time, how much time you've got with that. Well, this one I've got is really critical.
Mm-hmm.
And the time for the payroll, I'll give you that time. I know it's going to impinge on you, but I'll make sure you get that time back
Okay.
to make up for this. If I get this out the road, then the decks are cleared, and we as a company will reap the rewards. That I can see.
Okay.
I just need some help with that. I'll be here with you. You can just shout across. I'll help where I can, but I can't do it all.
Okay, cool. Let's crack on.
Yeah, right.
Nice one. Well done, Gary. What did you notice there?
Told you.
A huge impact on why, yeah? Yeah. Anything else?
Lots of we.
We. That's changing language, yeah? Super.
And help. People want to feel valued and that their help is valued.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. So, to feel valued. Anything else you noticed?
You recognise the other person's capacity to be able to help you and they're a manager to you.
Okay, so there's a bit more of a team approach than I'm the boss, do it. Okay. Better eye contact, wasn't there? And actually notice the 45-degree angle of collaboration in that conversation. More eye contact. Yeah, and more relaxed. Anything else?
Put you on a level with each other as well. He said, I'm going to be here too.
Where we're actually
Same level.
same page,
Just
yeah.
need to go.
Manager or not, it was more of a colleague, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Some key stuff there, thinking about developing high performance. I guess, what can you do with this? How can you apply this back in your workplaces with your teams? What one thing are you going to go away and do differently when you're asking somebody to go the extra mile? What is it? That sense of vision, enthusiasm, value, making people feel significant, competent and likeable, so that you develop an atmosphere of inclusion where people feel in control of where they're going and empowered to make some decisions on that, and an atmosphere of openness so we learn from our mistakes, that we don't have this blame culture. A small shift in 3 feeling states leads to a huge performance improvement. As I said with the RNLI, I've also seen it in global corporates, thinking about working with sustainable energy suppliers over in Denmark, some of their key account stuff. We put this into practice. Their results just went boom. Why? because they're sharing information, they're pulling in the same direction, they're not treading on each other's toes, and they're having as open and adult conversations about where the business is going and what their role is in moving it to that position. So I'd ask you to share a couple of thoughts. Having seen the seminar this afternoon, first of all, thank you for your input, your involvement in the activities. What one thing can you go away and do differently as a result of today? Let's get some thoughts going. Just shout them out. What one thing can you go away and do differently?
I'm going to explore a little bit more around these three areas. I'd like to know a little bit more about them. So it's given me some learning.
Excellent. And actually the book, The Human Element by Will Schutz, it's a big book. There's a lot of research in it, but it's a great starting point. So to find out a little bit more about it. There's some great case studies there as well. Anything else? I think I'm really good at that. Not. Stop, breathe, think, and then speak. It's great, but yeah, stop before you think.
If you want the manager, how can you try and get this into the manager's mindset
If
without
you-
sending them onto a course? If you're the recipient of this and not the...
You're in the team, not leading
Yeah,
the team.
absolutely.
How do you manage it
So
upwards?
how do you manage it upwards?
Yeah, I think role model. Be the change you want to see. It's a bit cheesy, but it's so true. If you are living the values and you're doing this with your colleagues and your manager, they will notice.
Yeah, but then you've got this power struggle. Yeah, you see it as a threat.
See it as a threat? Yeah, okay. How do you influence upwards? I mean, that's a whole different conversation. It's a whole different conversation. If you want to develop high performance, you want to be in a different team. Where if your manager is like that, you need to be thinking about other options. If I'm brutally honest. Yeah.
It's interesting, this.
Are you being all you can be? Are you making the most positive contribution that you can in your role? And if you're not, you've got to ask yourself, well, maybe I'm in the wrong role. Maybe I should be doing something different. One thing I can guarantee, change is constant. And it's our approach to it that makes a difference between success and mediocrity. So how you approach those changes, flexible in your thinking, solutions, not problems. And it starts with these three, and there's loads more in the book about how you put some of this into practice. And when I run a series of workshops, training events, one-to-one coaching, and
I see you have webinars as well.
we have webinars, yeah. In fact, I'm kicking off, as I said, on Friday with the Warner Music Group, doing emotional intelligence profile reviews with some of their top-line country managers. And it's around this stuff. It really is. How do you empower a team? How do you get them to go that little bit further, to do that little bit more, without pointing the finger, without blaming them, without telling them what to do? So some thoughts on it. I mean, we have got, if you're in training and development and you're facilitating or running courses yourself, we've got a number of road shows that would be really useful for you to think about your skills, capabilities, what's new, what's useful for us when you're thinking about engaging a group and delivering training and delivering change projects. So we've got a number of road shows in the north on the 29th of November, the south on the 25th, southwest on the 26th, and on your seats you should have a discount voucher if you haven't got one there on the stand, which will give you a free place on one of those courses.
Where's North?
That's a good question. Leeds, north. For me, I live in Devon. Anywhere north of Bristol is north.
I'm here on missionary work.
So do watch out for some of the other stuff that we've got available. There's also a series of courses on influencing. There's one I'm particularly thinking influence for success, thinking about how you influence upwards as well as sideways and downwards. So there's a wealth of open courses. Do help yourselves to some of the information here. Pearlcatcher is a great organisation to help you achieve that change and deliver on not just what's needed, but above and beyond the call of duty. How do we generate that, and how do we put that into practice? My name's Mike Ponting. You can find me on LinkedIn as a business improvement consultant, and you can also find me via Pearlcatchers at pearlcatchers.co.uk. First of all, thank you very much for sharing some of your situations and your challenges. I shall take away your barriers sheet and give it some considered thought, because I'm sure a lot of what you've put on there applies to me as well, and I'm all still learning as well. So it's about how we put it into practice. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great time here at World of Learning. Do go and have an explore. and enjoy yourselves. We've got another seminar coming up in a moment. If you're interested in that one, then do stick around. Or if you want to have a chat with any of our coaches, Gary's here, and there's a whole team just around the corner. Do come and have a conversation with us. We've got some free coaching sessions going on right here and right now. So if you're interested in having that conversation, then please do. Thanks very much, folks. Thank you.